Welcome to the 4th Annual Ice Cream Awards Show. If you're new to the feed, first off, thank you for your support, your following. I wouldn't be here without you. It's a fun job, but you guys make it better. I review it for you. I love the feedback. I love the conversation. I'm here, to let you know where ice cream stands in the world of ice cream. So how this works is we cover a bunch of categories. I say we, nobody's here with me. Nate Scoops is on the couch, but cover a bunch of categories of what I reviewed this year and where they fall into each category. While we do that, we don't review a pint of ice cream. We have it as pleasure. It's my day off for reviewing. Shout out to Screamin' Nuts on this one. It is a chocolate potato chip ice cream. Screamin' Nuts is local, right down the road from me. Make great ice cream, maybe even better donuts. But they covered my wedding. Of course, I had an ice cream bar. That's a story for another day. But this one's just a salted vanilla, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Natasha, the owner of Screamin' Nuts. But I think it's a salted vanilla ice cream with chocolate covered ruffles. Little sweet and salty action. So let's dig in, let's get at it. I've got a bunch of categories this year because for the first time I opened it up to you guys. I asked you on a poll, what would you like to see on the award show? Obviously they all didn't make it because I had a ton of requests, and I still covered the main ones that I think are necessary. So I've rambled long enough. When I get to these answers for each category, I'm gonna try to keep it short because if I ramble, that's long. I'm gonna try to keep this under 10 minutes. Nonetheless, let's get started. Let's start with Rookie of the Year. So this one I have two, even though one's a clear winner, I think the runner-up deserves a shout out. And sometimes that's gonna happen. I'm going to cheat, if you wanna call it that, but I'm going to mention two companies, but I'll always designate a one and a two. So here, hands down, Underground Creamery by Josh. Handle is at Eats Gone Wild. I think most of you probably saw this coming. Most of you see that he makes phenomenal ice cream. A select few of you have probably been able to try it. I fortunately got to vacation in Texas, so that was a stop for me. Incredible stuff. I'm leaving it there. Hopefully he ships in the future. I'm bugging the crap out of him, but right now he's keeping it tight-knit around the Houston area. Understandable. So that runner-up that deserves a shout-out is Lolly's Creamery. I was fortunate enough to get 2 shipments. They did a nationwide shipping, I'm going to say August, for a limited edition, one-time pack buy. Very good stuff. Not as consistent as Underground Creamery, but they're getting there. And I think they're going to do big things in 2021, so stay tuned on that. I want to go ahead and let's get through all the what I call negative categories. I hate to do it, but they're necessary. We're going to start with the biggest disappointment in 2020. I know people are screaming right now at what I'm going to say, and you're probably right, but 2 companies, I'm cheating again, come to mind. First off, the obvious, I think most of you just released, most of you probably know, Little G. It was a welcome back that just didn't live up to the hype. Enough said there. Go watch the review. Hopefully she can turn things around. Not far behind, but yes, it is better, is Oddfellows. And I hate to say it because I got to visit them in New York and loved it. I did scoop a very unique flavored, they called it the bodega capsule, so we can take that into effect. I do think I'll eventually get to another pack in 2021, but nowhere near the hype of what people were expecting as such a big name. Some potato chip action for you there. So next up, we're going to do the worst brand. And I'm probably going to catch some hell for this, but you're probably going to be like, why are you even scooping that? And in fact, excuse me, I shouldn't do that. It's just going to make the review longer talking my mouth full. In fact, if you go back and watch, you don't need to, but if you watch the 2019 Ice Cream Awards show, this same company took home that award. And it goes to Archer Farms, Target's brand. Terrible. I don't know why I'm buying it. Don't even ask me. I don't know why. It's like I'm in there and it's like an impulse buy. It's like $1 and oh, that sounds unique. It's garbage. Please avoid. Worst brand of the year. Worst flavor of the year. It's probably going to shock you when, maybe not necessarily the flavor, but the company. And that's Clementine's Creamery Wild Irish Oats. So she tried to, I can't remember exactly, replicate like this no-bake cookie or unbaked cookie or something, and it was terrible. I think I got a 1.5 out of 10. One of the lowest I've ever rated. But the base was just like, no lie, eating sand. It was that gritty. Just a very sad and horrible experience. If you want to see that review, just message me. I'll shoot it to you for fun. And the last bad category is who's overrated. For me, and I'm probably about to stir up a big old pot of you know what here, but it's 1-900 ice cream. I just don't get the hype. I'm sorry. Average base mix-ins are so up and down. There's no consistency at all. I guess I've had a few pints that had a great amount of mix-ins in terms of chunks, but the swirls are just no bueno. They're like, first of all, they hover around the edge of the pint if they're even that present at all. Hate to say it, overrated for me, 1-900 ice cream. Let's start, so get back into the good, happy categories people will be proud to win. Let's go to the most underrated. So for me, I'm going to call them a small company. They're doing big things, but they're a smaller company in New York City. Up in Harlem, you know who you are, Sugar Hill Creamery. And they're finally on the nationwide shipping train. Go to Goldbelly, whole list of flavors. They even make seasonal flavors along with the choose your own. Very underrated stuff. In fact, when I did my ice cream tour back in 2019, was it 2019? Yeah, it's been that long. 2019, they got the most underrated scoop shop out of my whole tour, in which, if you didn't know, I hit up 20 scoop shops with my wonderful wife who gave me that as my birthday gift, my 30th birthday. 20 scoop shops, had 67 scoops of ice cream in 4 days. They won the most underrated. Yes, it's not as good shipped. Not much better. It is better in their actual scoop shop. It's quite the experience. Beautiful shop. Highly recommend you check them out on Goldbelly though. Most underrated Sugar Hill Creamery. Making way here. So I kind of forgot about two categories that aren't too great. They're more, I guess, sad than anything. Who will be missed? Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to Ice and Vice this year. Due to the pandemic, I'm sure I don't know a great ton of details, but it's got to be. I also too got to visit them at their scoop shop. One of my favorite shots ever. Ask if you want to see it, but it's like a double scoop with a piece of pie on top. Incredible shot. It was an awesome experience. Sad to see them go. They were on Goldbelly as well. They shipped. I think I ended up getting 1, maybe 2 shipments of theirs. So didn't have a lot of their ice cream, but they were doing fun and interesting things. Now to kind of piggyback off of that, I'm going to do the saddest ice cream event. And I just randomly thought of this because this company deserves a shout out for, I guess, who they were. Nothing against the new owners. Jackie and Brian had to file for bankruptcy at Ample Hills. This is not a shot at the new owners. I've listened to Jackie and Brian's podcast, but about that whole process of them going through the bankruptcy and how they tried to save it and what all they went through and how it happened. It's very interesting. You should give it a listen. I think it's 7, 8, 9 episodes. It's very interesting. I have yet to scoop since the new owners took over. So I am not judging here. I don't know. I say sad just because they built that. They built that it was their childhood dream. They built that as youngsters, probably younger than me, very young. And they had to let it go. So, very sad event. It could still be up to par. I have not bought yet because the shipping prices are outrageous for Ample Hills. If you've had their new stuff, please let me know. I'd love to hear what it's like compared to the old. I got an email from I guess it was the founder, I don't know, whoever owns it now, and saying that there's some new stuff coming in 2021. So let's see where they take Ample Hills, and maybe we'll have some more scoops of Ample Hills in the future of some new flavors. For best dairy-free ice cream, I was struggling. I don't eat enough, and I would like to apologize to all the vegans, non-dairy folks out there. None of y'all probably follow me anymore because I rarely scoop them, and I'm sorry for that. That's one of my ice cream by the pint goals in 2021 is to get more, I guess, variety, veganism on the channel. But we had a few. So the first, and is probably the best, I'm going to name 2, Salt and Straw's chocolate hazelnut cookies and cream. So essentially, I shouldn't say all, maybe all, but the Salt and Straw uses a coconut cream milk. So that blended with a chocolate ice cream, which I love coconut chocolate, so that really was great for me. And they had a hazelnut butter with cookies and cream, basically Oreos. Very good dairy-free scoop. Salt and Straw's dairy-free bases are probably some of the best in the game. Oh, the best I've had. I haven't had a ton, I admit that, but the best that I've scooped. Second runner-up shout out to this company that contacted me and wanted to send out some pints called Eclipse. If you're not familiar with them, it's all plant-based. That was a first for me, kind of blew my mind, but they had a cookie butter flavor that was darn good. If you like cookie butter, I mean, I don't know many people who don't, I highly suggest scooping that one. It's quite the experience. So they get a runner-up for best dairy-free ice cream. Most consistent brand. Y'all have all probably been waiting to hear this name. It's an obvious for me. They do have the occasional rare miss here and there, but most of the time, you're dealing with some high quality, great stuff, and that's Cafe Pana. I think that's an obvious answer, but easily the category winner. Best base. Woo! Big one here. So, I'm not gonna do a 1-2 here because I can name a 1 and I can name about 3 2s that are very high quality stuff. However, I gotta give it to probably a little bit of an upset here. Leopold's Ice Cream down the road out of Savannah, Georgia. No, I'm not saying that just because they're from Savannah, but very high quality ice cream. Sneaky good too. A lot of people don't know about it. They do ship. I highly advise you checking them out. I've talked to a manager, I guess is his title. We're possibly working on a collab in the future. Maybe when I do that collab, we'll get a discount code. Stay put on that. However, sneaky good, very high quality, dense, premium base, Leopold's Ice Cream. Best mix-in. You don't even know what you're missing out on until you try Underground Creamery's brownie gooey butter cake. It should be illegal. I got to visit his kitchen and try it just like hell. I like just eating it like I didn't even want ice cream. I just wanted the freaking butter cake. And ice cream, it's even better. Killer mix in, changes the game in probably most every ice cream it's thrown into. He uses it, I don't want to say a lot, but frequently enough. If you ever have the chance to buy it, you will probably be able to try it. Brownie gooey butter cake. Game changer, Underground Creamery. We're gonna kind of combine 2 categories into one here just because it happened that way. So let's start with the most creative flavor. And that goes to Cafe Pana's Nocciola Buns. It was probably in her 3rd pack maybe. I don't know, her fall pack, can't remember. No, I think it was her 3rd pack, pack 3. Anyway, it's a hazelnut ice cream with toffee crunchies in a sweet potato bun swirl. How's that sound? It's very interesting and also very good. Most of the time if you get really interesting, it can be very good. So that piggybacks into the best mix-in, excuse me. That goes to Underground Creamery. Most unique mix-in. And that was that sweet potato bun swirl. Never had anything like it. Consistency, flavor, texture. It was actually a collab with a company called, I think it's Millers and Makers. Let me double check that. Yeah, Millers and Makers out of New York City. I was at the Hester Street Fair when I was in New York City in 2019 and actually had the freaking sweet potato bun. It's like a cinnamon roll, but it's a sweet potato bun. Phenomenal stuff. So that gets the most unique mix in, that sweet potato bun swirl. What grew on me the most this year? I always get this question. Thanks for asking, I guess. This year was tough for me. Last year was hands down coconut, man. Coconut and chocolate. Woo, I love coconut now. Anyways, I kind of struggled to find one this year, but I scooped enough to where I started enjoying them, and that's pistachio. I know why you're like, what? I love pistachio, the raw nuts, but it's just not an ice cream thing for me. I still don't love it, but it's growing on me. I'm definitely making strides. So pistachio, the flavor that grew on me the most in 2020. Getting down to the end here. A few more scoops of ice cream and a few more chips. Best grocery store brand. Guess what? Ben and Jerry's. They didn't do anything super fancy this year. They had no like banging pints, 9s, and 10s, but they did. They brought out a bunch of new stuff. Some was sneaky good, some was a stretch, but I think Haagen-Dazs was down this year. You know, it's tough to do because people live in different parts of the world, parts of the nation, the U.S., so you know, everybody has access to the same thing. So as far as like your mainstream, don't even get me started on Bluebell, all you Texans that go. Haagen-Dazs and Ben & Jerry's. I mean, the Jenny's could be up there, but not everybody has access to Jenny's. So Ben & Jerry's, best grocery store brand. Piggybacking off of the best grocery store brand, we're gonna do the best grocery store flavor. I'm gonna give the edge to Ben & Jerry's Berry Sweet Mascarpone, which was actually a Whole Foods. Yes, it was a Whole Foods exclusive flavor, so I guess that's not fair either, but it was a blackberry and mascarpone ice cream with shortbread cookies and fudge covered almonds. Doesn't sound amazing, but it worked really, really well. Best ice cream brand company that ships. I think it's obvious, but I got a ton of requests for it, so we're gonna address it. Cafe Pana. There's no other way to say it. Cafe Pana. Making the best ice cream in the world right now. And you'll see here shortly. Most improved, or as some people put in the poll, Redemption brand company. So basically, it's a mainstream brand, but it just means that I compare it from 19 to 20, so always 1 year behind. And I'm going with Ben & Jerry's just because 19 wasn't a great year for them. If you're thinking Glampfire Trail Mix, which is a phenomenal flavor by them, that was the end of 2018. So in 2019, they really didn't do much new stuff. Maybe Justice Remixed, if you remember that one. I want to say there was one more. Nonetheless, to 2019 compared to 2020, they made some much bigger and better strides. They collabed with Netflix, so there was 4, Netflix and Chills flavors. We had Netflix and Chill, Boots on the Moon, and Chip Happens. Were all about 7.5 for me, which it's above average. It's not outstanding, but it's above average, and that's very good, for Ben & Jerry's. But overall, and the Berry Sweet Mascarpone, that was in the 8s. I think it was 8 out of 10. So very good year for Ben & Jerry's. Definitely a step up from 2019. This was also another first time category request, and that's the best fruit flavored ice cream. It's funny, I was like looking at my top, we'll get into it, but top 16, I know that's a random number, pints, and not one was fruit flavored. So I'm not the biggest fan of fruit flavor. However, fruit flavored ice creams, I appreciate one when I come across it. So that's Lolly's Creamery Blueberry Lemon Bar. So it was a sweet cream custard with main blueberries, but basically like a blueberry swirl, and then this house-made Meyer lemon bar. Crazy little sweet, tangy vibe going on there. So I don't know if lemons are fruit or not. I don't think so, but blueberries definitely are. So these last 2 categories before we get into the big dogs are kind of just some fun categories that I thought of that happened to me this year. So first is going to be the best ice cream shop I visited in person. Hands down for 2020 goes to Sweet Cow in Denver, Colorado. Wow, crazy good. Anybody in the area, go now. It might be, I've been to Salt and Straw, I've been a ton in New York City. It's probably in my top 3 all-time favorite ice cream shops that I've ever been in. Very good ice cream, beautiful setup. I think they have 4 or 5 in Denver actually, but the one I went to, it was awesome, friendly staff. Highly recommend Sweet Cow. The last fun one is gonna be who had the best drop shipment to my house, right on my front door, sometimes a side door. And that goes to Warwick Creamery, who kind of flies under the radar too. They're out of Rhode Island, and man, did he ship a box. I think, I'm sure some of y'all saw my story, but the thing, it's like a big old cooler. It had 12, I think it was 12, like basically half-gallon pints. I think Bluebell. That's not a pint. 12 half-gallon tubs. Think Bluebell. Then 8, 19, it was about 12 pints. On top of that, which just reminds me, I hadn't even posted yet. I need to get into that. He sent 2 ice cream turkey rolls since this was right before Thanksgiving. I'll have to put some pictures of that up soon. Forgot about that. I apologize, Warwick. Nonetheless, I did the math. It was around like 54, 55 what would have been pints of ice cream in one shipment. Much appreciation, Warwick. I love you. You're doing good things. Hope to review some more of you in 2021. Dun, 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 dun. Biggest category of them all. Right before we do the top 5. Sorry for y'all who wanted the top 10. I'll get into that in a minute. Brand of the year. Do we even have to say it? Cafe Pana. Hallie Meyer doing wonderful things there. Hopefully the packs continue to come. I know one is coming in mid-January that y'all need to buckle up. Buckle up. It's one of my favorite sayings. Buckle up, because it's going to be a fun ride. Top 5 ice creams of the year. I know that's going to make people mad. They wanted more. I would have made you even more mad because I only wanted to do 4. Yeah, I know 4 is random, but I only have 4 10s. There's really only 4 that deserve to be in the top. So if we went to, I was like, okay, maybe I'll do 10. Well, if we count the 9.5s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. 12 9.5s. Am I beginning to get too lenient? Y'all let me know, because we had 16 pints this year that were 9.5 or higher. Seems like a lot, or are the people just making really good ice cream? Nonetheless, let's get the show on the road. So I'm choosing one of those 12 9.5s, which I would honestly put them near all equal. But I'm choosing one that I love. Maybe it was just the moment, but I absolutely loved it. Coming in at number 5, Lolly's Creamery Samoa. Toasted coconut, Samoa cookies, caramel swirl, and shreds of toasted coconut. Fun fact, I did a kind of a March Madness tournament like the basketball, but I did it with ice cream. I actually did it in April, trying to cheer people up with the pandemic. It was actually pretty fun. I might do it next year. Samoa took home the crown out of everything. That was the 9.5 out of 10. It comes in at number 5. The next 4 are all 10s. Coming in at number 4, we have Cafe Pana's Bob's Dream. Collaboration flavor by Chef Bob Kamnewski. Peanut butter ice cream, salted cookie dough, fudge swirl, and chocolate cookie crunch. Just sounds amazing. Coming in at number 3, shocker, Cafe Pana again. Casserole. What type of casserole? Sweet potato ice cream with a Cinnamon swirl, cinnamon and marshmallow, and also candied pecans. I made a big deal about this. I'm team pecans on my sweet potato casserole. A lot of people are team marshmallow. You can't be my friend if you are. Cafe Pan decided to do both to make the people happy, and they did make the people happy. 10 out of 10. Comes in at my 3rd favorite ice cream of 2020. Coming in at number 2, Welcome to the Game Underground Creamery. Take 5. Yeah, I was just watching this story today, actually, and he says he's going to bring it back. So all those people who have access to this, you better jump on it. Because this is a darkish chocolate ice cream. I love the guy for doing crap like that. He's just like he wings it and he's killing it. Darkish chocolate ice cream. Pretzel crunch and a peanut butter caramel swirl. I didn't get to like camera video review these, but you got my rating, my number ratings, so that's good enough for you. I know you trust that. So that's my 2nd favorite ice cream of 2020. Coming in at number 1, probably not a shocker, it is Cafe Pana once again. So they had the number 1, the number 3, and the number 4 in my top 5. They're doing something right. Number 1, chocolate Oreo cookie ganache. Chocolate ice cream, Oreos, and a cookies and cream ganache swirl. May not sound, I mean, it sounds amazing to me. It may not sound as good as some of those other ones I mentioned, but everything about it was just pure bliss, pure beauty. It was amazing. I miss it. I want more of it. I'm sure we might, I shouldn't say I'm sure, we'll probably get a lot more of Cafe Pana in 2021, so who knows what the future holds. Anyways, guys, that wraps up my Ice Cream Awards show, the 4th annual here for 2020. Sad year, great ice cream year though. If you want to know anything else, feel free to comment, feel free to ask, DM me, whatever. Even if you want to know the rest of my 9.5s, because there are 11 more 9.5s. So, thanks for watching, guys. I truly appreciate you all. Hopefully 2021's even better, and let's see what next year holds. Thanks, guys.